A couple left a party. They were gone before sunrise. The house where they were taken was less than 2 miles away. Nobody came looking for 2 days. What you're about to hear is one of the most brutal criminal cases in American history. Not because of who did it, but because of exactly what they did, hour by hour, and how long it took anyone to find out. It's a Saturday night, Knoxville, Tennessee, January 6, 2007. Channon Christian, 21, and her boyfriend, Christopher Newsom, 23, are leaving a friend's party. 2 months into dating, by every account, genuinely happy. They get into her Toyota 4Runner. That is the last time anyone who loved them sees them alive. Somewhere between that apartment and wherever they were going, in a parking lot on Chipman Street, someone steps in front of the vehicle, armed. Both of them are forced out of the car at gunpoint. Chris is made to drive. Channon is in the back. The 4Runner pulls away into the dark. Nobody witnesses it, no cameras catch it, no alarm is raised. For the next several hours, nobody even knows they're missing. The car stops at a house, 2316 Chipman Street, a rental. Rundown, isolated enough. Inside that house, 5 people are waiting, and what happens next inside those walls is so extreme that the detectives who processed the scene said, on record, it was the worst they had ever encountered in their careers. Let's talk about what the evidence showed, because the evidence doesn't lie. Christopher Newsom was taken first. He was bound, he was beaten, he was sexually assaulted. Then he was shot multiple times. His body was carried to nearby railroad tracks, doused, and set on fire. The fire was not an accident. It was deliberate. They were trying to destroy the evidence that connected them to him. It didn't work. Channon Christian was kept inside the house for what investigators believe was up to 2 days. During that time, she was repeatedly assaulted and tortured. Cleaning products, bleach, were used on her body in what forensic experts confirmed was an attempt to destroy DNA evidence. She ultimately died from suffocation. Her body was placed in a garbage bag and stuffed into a trash can in the kitchen of that house. And then, the people who did this, they left. Some went to get food. Some went to sleep. One of them went to a laundromat. Life continued for them as if nothing had happened. Inside that house, in a garbage can in the kitchen, was a 21-year-old woman. Sunday morning, January 7th. Channon's parents, Gary and Dina, start calling her phone. No answer. They call again. And again. By that afternoon, they filed a missing persons report. Across town, residents near the railroad tracks off Whittle Springs Road notice something on the ground. They call it in. Officers arrive. The body is burned almost beyond recognition, but it's clearly a young male, bound at the wrists, shot multiple times before the fire was set. At this point, investigators have 2 separate situations: a missing young woman and an unidentified burned body. Nobody yet knows these cases are connected. Monday passes, Tuesday begins. The 4Runner, Channon's Toyota, has been spotted abandoned in a nearby area. Officers run the plates, it's hers. A resident near Chipman Street calls in a complaint. There is an odor coming from the house at 2316. Officers approach the property. They entered. They find her in a garbage bag. The house is now a crime scene, and within hours of processing it, investigators know exactly who lives there. Here's where the case breaks open. Fingerprints pulled from inside Channon's 4Runner are run through the national database. Match: immediate. Lamarcus Davidson, 25 years old. Prior convictions including aggravated robbery and, pay attention to this, carjacking. He had been released on parole just months earlier. And his parole address on file? 2316 Chipman Street, the same address where Channon's body was just found. Investigators now have fingerprints, a known address, and a prior carjacking conviction. They also have DNA. Forensic teams pull biological evidence from both victims and run it. Multiple profiles come back, connecting Davidson, his half-brother Latalvis Cobbins, and an associate named George Thomas to the crime scene. Shell casings recovered from near the railroad tracks, where Chris's body was burned, are matched to a weapon connected to Davidson. The garbage bags used to conceal Channon's body are matched to a specific brand found inside the house. Even the bleach didn't save them. The cleaning products used on Channon's body had destroyed some evidence, but not enough. Investigators were able to recover sufficient DNA to make multiple identifications. On January 10th, 4 days after the abduction, officers located Davidson at a separate residence in Knoxville. He is taken into custody without a fight. Within days, Cobbins was arrested. Thomas arrested. Cobbins' 18-year-old girlfriend, Vanessa Coleman, who was present in the house, was arrested. A fifth individual, Eric Boyd, was arrested in Kentucky for helping Davidson flee. 5 people? Less than a week. The forensic trail they left behind was overwhelming, but catching them was only the beginning. Because what came next in the courtroom would drag this case out for nearly a decade and force these families to live through it all again. 2009, the trials begin, and the community shows up. Because Knoxville wants to watch this happen. Cobbins, convicted. Life without parole. Thomas, convicted. Life without parole. Davidson, convicted. Death sentence. Coleman, convicted. 53 years. 4 trials. 4 convictions. Everyone goes down. It should have been over. In 2011, the judge who presided over all 4 of those trials, a man named Richard Baumgartner, resigns from the bench under investigation. The reason? He had been a functioning prescription drug addict throughout the entire trial period. He had also been secretly involved with a convicted felon who appeared as a witness in his courtroom in exchange for favorable treatment of her own criminal cases. Every defense attorney for every defendant files an immediate motion. The argument, our clients were denied a fair trial. The judge was impaired. The convictions must be thrown out. The Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals agrees. 3 of the 4 defendants get new trials ordered. Gary Christian, Channon's father, stands outside the courthouse and says the words that will be replayed on every news channel in the state. We'll be here. As long as it takes. We'll be here. The retrials run from 2012 to 2014. Same evidence, same photographs, same testimony. The families sit through every minute of it. Again. Cobbins retried. Convicted again. Life without parole. Thomas retried. Convicted again. Life without parole. Coleman retried. Convicted again. 35 years. Davidson's death sentence upheld through the appeals process. All 5 individuals connected to the murders of Channon Christian and Christopher Newsom are now serving their sentences. Davidson is on death row in Tennessee. Cobbins and Thomas will die in prison. Coleman serves 35 years. Boyd serves 18 in federal prison. The legal chapter is closed. But for 2 families, things never remain the same. Gary and Dina Christian, Hugh and Mary Newsom, They sat through 2 full rounds of trials. Every piece of evidence, every photograph, every expert describing what was done to their children. They did it because they decided their children deserved witnesses. In the years since, both families have pushed for changes to Tennessee's parole oversight system because Davidson should never have been on the street with no meaningful supervision, given his prior carjacking conviction. They established a foundation in Channon and Christopher's names. They kept showing up. Here is what the record also shows. Channon had a dog named Gracie. Chris was a carpenter, good with his hands, the kind of person who showed up when you needed him. They had been together 2 months. They left a party on a Saturday night and never came home. And 5 people who made decisions over the course of that night and the days that followed will spend the rest of their lives in cells because of it. A couple left a party. They deserved to come home. If this case means anything, it's this. The systems that are supposed to keep dangerous people away from everyone else failed completely on January 6th, 2007, and 2 families paid the price. Subscribe for more cases that deserve to be remembered.